Welcome back to the second part of my Tiger II General History Talks. Last time we took a look at the development, production and upgrades of the Tiger II. This time we will take a look at combat performance, eyewitness accounts and the last surviving vehicles. The Tiger II was only issued to heavy tank battalions, in German Schwere Panzerabteilung, of both the German Army and the Waffen-SS. A standard battalion comprised of 45 tanks. 3 Tiger IIs formed a battalion command and 1 battalion comprised of 3 companies. Each company was formed of 3 platoons and the company was led by 2 Tiger IIs. 1 platoon consisted of 4 further Tiger IIs. The Schwere Heerpanzerabteilung 501st to 511 and Schwere SS Panzerabteilung 501st to 503rd were equipped with Tiger IIs. Early Tiger IIs were unreliable due to leaking seals and gaskets, but also because of the drivetrain, which was intended for lighter vehicles and therefore overburdened. Lack of crew training amplified certain problems, such as with the radius steering gear, since most drivers were only given limited training on other tanks and often sent directly to operational units already on the front or on the way to the front. Because of issues like this, the Schwere Heerpanzerabteilung 501 only had 8 out of 45 tanks operational, had most problems with drivetrain failures when they arrived on the Eastern Front. The first 5 Tiger IIs of the Panzerlehr division already broke down before they could be used in combat and were destroyed to prevent capture. After modified seals, gaskets and drivetrain components were introduced, together with improved driver training and sufficient maintenance, the tank's mechanical reliability improved greatly. Statistics from March 1945 show reliability rates of 59% for the Tiger II, which is equal to 62% of the Panzer IV and better than the 48% of the Panther in the same operational period. Funny enough, the Tiger II was uncharacteristically agile for such a large tank. Contemporary German records and test results show that the Tiger II was as good or better than most German or Allied tanks in terms of tactical mobility. Things did not start well for the Tiger II. When in the first combat use of the vehicles during the Battle of Normandy, 2 Tiger IIs were lost in combat and the company commander's vehicle became stuck after falling into a bomb crater. The Tiger II did not fare better on the Eastern Front, where it was first used on 12th of August 1944 by the Heeres 501 Heavy Panzer Battalion, resisting the Lvov-Sandomierz offensive. Several ambushing T-34-85s destroyed 3 Tiger IIs on the road to Ogladov. It was discovered that most of these vehicles suffered from ammunition explosions, which meant the death of the entire crew. And it was decided that main gun rounds were no longer to be stowed in the turret, reducing the capacity to only 68 main gun rounds. Between the 11th and the 14th of August, Soviet T-34s, IS-2s and ISU-122s ambushed and destroyed up to 14 Tiger IIs of the 501st. This also helped the Soviets in capturing 3 operational Tiger IIs and allowed them to conduct testing in Kubinka to evaluate its strengths and weaknesses. During Operation Panzerfaust, an operation to capture the Hungarian capital of Budapest, which would ensure that the country would stay loyal to the Axis until the end of the war, the 503rd Heavy Panzer Battalion would play a crucial role, while they would support Otto Skorzeny's troops. The 503rd remained in Hungary for 166 days, in which they destroyed an immense amount of enemy vehicles. At least 121 Soviet tanks, 244 anti-tank guns and artillery pieces, 5 aircraft and a train. Offset to this was the loss of 25 Tiger IIs, of which only 10 were knocked out by the Soviets and burned out. 13 were blown up by their crews for a variety of reasons, and 2 were sent back to Vienna for overhaul. The highest scoring tank ace of all time, with a staggering 162 enemy armored fighting vehicles, served with the 503rd, and Kurt Knispel would die on the 29th of April 1945 in his Tiger II in the area of Moravia or Silesia. The 503rd SS Heavy Panzer Battalion claimed approximately 500 kills in the period from January to April 1945 on the Eastern Front, for the loss of all Tiger IIs in the battalion. most of which were destroyed by the crews due to breakdowns or lack of fuel. When only considering proper battle losses, that kill ratio was superior to any other tank in the German army, and possibly superior to any tank ever. The last remnants of the unit in Budapest fought on to try to get through Soviet forces, Operation Conrad. However, the unit globally maintained a 15-to-1 ratio for insignificant combat losses and is viewed as the second best of all German units in World War II. Another unit which was involved in the combat in Hungary, Operation Conrad III, was the former 509th Schweres Panzerabteilung, decimated, then re-equipped with Tiger IIs in January 1945. It lost 40 out of 45 tanks trying to get through the ferocious Soviet pack front. However, until February, they managed to destroy 203 Soviet tanks, among others. The remnants were transferred to the 3rd Panzer Corps in March 1945, taking part in the fighting supporting Operation Frühlingserwachen. At least 150 Tiger IIs were used in the Ardennes offensive of December 1944, and most were lost during this operation. An M8 Greyhound got behind the Tiger II during the Battle of St. Vith, and while the commander tried to traverse the turret, the M8 put 3 37mm rounds into the relatively thin rear armor from only 23 meters, setting the behemoth on fire. The commander of the M8 reported that there was a muffled explosion, followed by flames, which billowed out of the turret and engine port. Most amazing was the deployment in December 1944 for Operation Wacht am Rhein, in English Guard on the Rhine. Hitler's last gambit to cut the Allied armies in half and throw them back into the sea. For this major and totally surprising counter-offensive, Army Group B, under command of General Feldmarschall Walter Mödel, mobilized with the 501st SS Heavy Panzer Battalion, attached to the 1st SS Panzer Division. The 506th Heavy Panzer Battalion, 6th Army, reinforced by the 301st Heavy Panzer Battalion, 9th Panzer Division. Tiger IIs were filmed abundantly in German newsreels. This Wunderwaffe was considered as the tip of the spear, but the plan proved fatally flawed as it imposed the capture at precise schedules of all fuel supplies of the Allied forces, just to allow the tanks to stay mobile until the end of the first phase, up to the Meuse River. In addition, the 653rd Heavy Panzerjäger Battalion would also have been committed, fielding most of the Jagdtigers built by then. But these tank hunters never made it to the front, blocked on the rail carriages, cut off by an air attack way beyond the Rhine. One of the more important Kampfgruppe commanders was Joachim Peiper, Himmler's protege, decorated with the Knight's Cross and the Hardcore Nazi, which was judged for war crimes after the war, for the Malmedy massacre and other executions in Poland, Russia and Italy. A veteran of the LSSAH, he served with the 1st SS Panzer Regiment in Normandy. For Wacht am Rhein, he was given a strict order to get to the Meuse River whatever the cost, by the 6th Panzer Army HQ commander Fritz Kremer. Peiper complained about the narrow, hilly and tortuous nature of the road, and his column suffered badly from breakdowns. He had to choose another path through Höningen and then the Bachnaus crossroads, stumbling upon US artillery observers, quickly rounded up and later executed. Arriving at night on the left bank of the Amblève River, he lost a day waiting to assault a lightly defended town. The US forces in the meantime converged and blasted all bridges on the Amblève, trapping Peiper's Tigers in the deep valley of the Amblève, downstream for Creux-Pont. He then assaulted Stoumont, but was repelled and forced to withdraw to the small village of La Glaise, with his fuel tanks dry. There he held out for 6 days of US counterattacks and bombardments, and lost contact with other units. On 24th of December, he decided that with his men, left to join the German lines on foot, and his tanks were abandoned, unscathed. Some Tiger IIs were also present during the Soviet Vistula-Oder and East Prussian offensives in January 45, as well as the German Lake Balaton offensive in Hungary in March 45, the Battle of Seelow Heights in April 45, and the Battle of Berlin at the end of the war. The only working Tiger II, which you would have seen photographed and recorded in this video, is normally displayed at the Musée des Blindés, Saumur, France. I must apologize because I most probably raped that French pronunciation, but that's because I never had French and therefore my French is even worse than my German. The museum in Saumur was kind enough to loan it for a couple of days to the Militrex event at the Overloon War Museum in Overloon, the Netherlands. People could get tickets to sit in the turret and look around, and a few lucky ones even got to start the engine and ride along while they repositioned it a couple of times a day. Even getting to see a magnificent piece of history like this to start up and drive is an honor, and I am very glad that the Militrex event were able to bring in such a magnificent part of the Second World War for this event. Bovington Tank Museum in Dorset, UK featured Tiger II with an early production Porsche turret, and this was a soft steel prototype and did not see active service. The engine of this model is used in Tiger 131, the only driving example of a Tiger I. The Defence Academy in Shrivenham, UK have loaned their production turret Tiger II to Bovington. This vehicle belonged to the Schweres SS Panzerabteilung 501 and featured a coating of Zimmerit. The last Tiger II in the UK is owned by a private collector, Kevin Wheatcroft, who is about to start a restoration or rebuild of the complete Tiger II, although this will feature many parts from other Tiger IIs and many parts will need to be newly manufactured. He aims to complete this Tiger II in running order. Another Tiger II in France is more or less complete, but wrecked and buried under a regional road. In 2001, parts of the turret were recovered, but further excavation has halted for financial purposes. The December 44 Museum in La Glaise, Belgium, has a cosmetically restored Tiger II displayed at its entrance, and the museum is entirely devoted to the Battle of the Bulge. The tank was abandoned in La Glaise on December 24, 1944, where the advance of Kampfgruppe Peiper was halted. The front part, about a third of the gun barrel, is restored with a Panther barrel and muzzle brake. In Germany, Deutsches Panzermuseum Münster has a Tiger II, where the interior is accessible to the public on payment of entrance fee. The Schweizerisches Militärmuseum Pfuhl in Switzerland has a Tiger II, which was gifted to Switzerland by France after the war. This vehicle was previously displayed at the Thun Tank Museum. The goal is to get it completely restored and in running condition. Also, we can't leave out the Kubinka Tank Museum in Russia, where they have a Tiger II, which was captured at Okladov by the Red Army. Lastly, there's a Tiger II in the National Armor and Cavalry Heritage Museum in Fort Benning, Georgia, the US, which was captured by the US Army near Trey Point, where it was abandoned by the crew. Now, thank you for watching this two-part episode of General History Talks. I know I've been away for too long, but sadly, motivation or lack thereof and other menial things like work came up. I hope you enjoyed this video of General History Talks, and if you did, make sure you like the video and share it with your friends. Also, subscribe to my channel and stay up to date with more content. If you did like my video, press that dislike button and leave a comment why and how I could improve. Take care, and until next time.